Hey guys, welcome to the MerrickDamon Show. I'm Merrick, and I have been in the real estate business for 20 years now, and I've learned some really important lessons. The goal of this show is to give them all to you. So during this 20 years, I've been a realtor, I've been a developer, I've been an investor, and what I'm gonna do to you guys is I'm gonna bring you the experts right here so they can tell you the important lessons, the things that you need to do to achieve the same level of success that I have. Now, at the end of this show, I have an announcement, so stick around. It's a big announcement, and you are going to be surprised.
Yeah.
So we recently brought on LaWanda to help us with our Kim conference. It's called the Keep It Moving Conference. Now, I wrote a book called the Keep It Moving Real Estate Series,
right,
because I was working in this business, as I said, for 10 years, and I wanted to get everybody to experience this life that I have.
Yes.
I talked to developers, I've worked with home buyers, home sellers, people in the interior design field, and I brought them into this space in Miami, and I wanted them to share and to communicate. And it was amazing. But this year, just like everything else with me, I want to make it bigger.
Yes.
And, I started out with a few challenges, but I found myself challenging myself with, who do I want to help me get there? And I know for sure that person is you.
I am so honored.
That person is you. And I knew it the day you walked into this office.
I am so honored.
So let's talk about the Kim conference for a second. So we've had a chance to talk a little bit and talk about your experience. So why don't you share with our audience what you've done in the past, what you plan to do maybe with the Kim conference?
Yes. Well, I will be very honest with you guys. First of all, thank you to Merrick for inviting me in to be a part of this amazing show. And I think that what's really important that we communicate on this show today is how important it is for any individual that is planning a conference or an expo to bring in professional help. A lot of times people think that they can do it themselves. And the reality of it, Merrick found out himself, it is a lot of work. And so we bring behind the scenes experience for MerrickDamon, for the Kim conference. We bring that behind the scenes experience that will help the Kim conference grow to its next level and also make sure that it is produced so that the individuals who are coming will have an extraordinary experience.
So that's exactly what I needed, because I run multiple businesses.
Of course.
I run a real estate company. I have a real estate school. We do these conferences and I write. I have to have experts, people like you, who can come in and help me make my dreams bigger.
Yes.
If you are out there and you don't have people in your corner or behind the scenes helping you to expand your dreams, you won't get but a certain level of success. We can't be experts in everything.
That's right.
And you talked about that, and I figured that out last year. And I can talk about the Kim conference last year is that I felt myself doing work that wasn't in my preview, things that I wasn't comfortable doing because I didn't have the right expert in place to do it.
Right.
That has changed.
Yes.
I enjoy what you've said because you give me the confidence in knowing that I've selected someone who can go out there and do it and has a track record of success.
Absolutely.
Relationships, as you mentioned before, are crucial.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a minute. What type of relationships have you built today or in 20 years ago that have helped you build the amazing business that you built now?
Absolutely. I think that one of the greatest things that I have been able to do for my own personal business is I've been able to put the right people in place to be vendors, not only for myself, but also for my clients. So we are what is considered to be a full service event management company. The name of my company is Plan Ahead Events, and we're a full service event management company. We are a step above the event planner, but we are more of a full service event management company. So we've put people in place that handles everything and built relationships with individuals that do everything from lighting and sound to audio video production, whatever it is that we need, from our registration processes to make it clean and concise so that our guests are not standing in long lines and waiting, but they can come in and be a part of the event. So we're doing so many different things that really help to make your vision come to light and do it in a more professional manner that it's crisp and it's clean. And we really stay around the back side a lot. We're not in front of the camera on those days. Our job is to make sure that you as the professional, you as the individual presenting the information shines and can actually get your message across.
Perfect. This is exactly why I chose you guys. We're looking to double the size of our event this year.
Yes.
I want to go bigger. I always want to go bigger.
Yes.
I never think small. So I thank you for that because in order to help me get there, I need somebody that can work with me, understand me, be able to communicate with me and my team. Teamwork.
Yes.
important.
Makes the dream work.
Wow. What have been some of your keys to success with teamwork?
Keys to success with teamwork is honestly believing that everybody has a buy-in in this particular event. I think that one of the things that's very difficult that we'll find, there is no I in team. It's TEAM. And together, everybody achieves more. Team. You've got to recognize that when you're bringing in individuals that have their own levels of expertise, give them the opportunity to do what they do best.
Gotcha.
I call it stay in your lane.
Stay in your
know
lane.
what you're good at, do what you're good at, because the team will be able to produce an outstanding event and nobody is stepping on each other's toes. It's mutual respect. It's honor. It's understanding individuals' own buy-in in that game so that everybody can achieve what we're trying to achieve together.
You know, I'm not a Patriots fan.
by any
Coach
stretch of the meaning.
Belichick, right? He says one thing that I always listen. You know what he always says?
What's that?
Do your job.
Do your job.
Do your job is the same message as stay in your lane.
Yes.
Because for that way we can hold you accountable.
That's right.
Because what happens when people switch lanes and they don't do their job and they're doing somebody else's job, something inevitably falls behind.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that you guys in the audience listen today and people all around the world and in business, stay in your lane, do your job.
Right.
Do that, and then that way you can be successful at something. You know, one of the things that I encounter a lot when people get in the real estate business is that they want to do everything. They want to sell a house in Miami, but they also want to sell a house in New York City. How's that possible? So how do you stay in your lane and do your job and find success is something that I always talk about. So I'm so happy that you're able to bring that to light and to bring that to the conference. You know, you've been great at talking about ideas and thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about intellectual power, because that is so much. You know, good companies survive on their intelligence, making good planning decisions, making good partnerships. How or what type of advice would you give for anybody, I think, in terms of making strategic intellectual partnerships? Because really that's something that you can't really, there's no price for.
That's right.
If people aren't smart enough to make good decisions, they typically revolt and they don't make them, and their businesses don't be successful. What do you think about that?
I think as far as intellectual property is concerned, intellectual ideologies, intellectual, your real estate of your event, I think what that is concerned is that's going to really come from vision. If there is clear-cut vision, then from that, we're able to create those things that make individuals want to be a part of your program. So when you're looking at a person like MerrickDamon, and you're looking at this real estate company, you're looking at the family of companies and all the things that it represents, then you're able to actually jump in and create and produce those intellectual components that make you unique, that make you special, and that make other people want to come and be a part of it.
Right, and which is why I focus on writing my books.
Yes.
Why I want to speak more, because I want people to follow and not just get, oh wow, Merrick, he's a successful guy, he's made a lot of money in real estate, but no, I also have things that I want to share with people. The way you share that is you codify it, you put it in books and writings and talks so people can actually grab a hold. That's why I want you guys to follow us along and just take this ride with us, because the Keep It Moving conference came out of my heart. It's something that I want to give back to people, and that's so important. Now, another thing that we talked about was, you know, how do you go and, you know, connect vision with people? You know, I'm one of those people that can really kind of say, this is what I want. This is what I desire. You know, how are you able to mix your business in and understand me so well, so quickly? That's really kind of smart. I don't understand, because, you know, most people are going in different paths. You are able to take your path for your own business and align it with mine. How have you been able to do that successfully over the years?
Truthfully, again, I have to go back to that very same thing I just said, vision. Vision and passion is worth its weight in gold. When a person has vision, when you have passion, when you actually understand your industry and you have that desire to give back, it makes it very easy for a person like myself to come in, capture that dream, that vision, and then expand upon it to be able to add whatever elements we need to add in order to make sure that the vision that is in that mind or that is surrounding that person can actually be translated in front of individuals. It's passion, Merrick.
And you know, passion is everything.
Yes, indeed.
And I know with that passion, you have to think about the steps to get to reaching obtainable goals.
That's right.
You know, one of the things that I talk about in my book and the things I speak about in my speak is how do you get goals that are obtainable? You know, and working your way to get there. Real estate is a big marketplace.
Yes.
People make millions of dollars in our business. I want to teach people how to get there, how to make millions, how to turn their dreams into reality. You've been able to do that.
Yes.
What do you, and maybe for some people it's about a dollar amount, and some people it's just about a feeling. How do you determine success for you in your business?
I mean, obviously, we all work. We all do it for for the financial gratification of it. But at the end of the day, it can't just be about money. It literally has to be about look, feel. It has to be about presence and purpose. It has to bring together. It has to pull together all of the elements of the individual in order for it to make sense. There's an old preacher friend of mine.
Love old preachers.
Not old preacher friend, but there's a preacher that we're all very familiar with, and his name is Bishop T.D. Jakes. And he said this:
great word.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And so we have to make sure that whatever we're doing, that we're doing what is passionate to us, because it's going to make the money, but at the same token, we also want to be able to make sense of why we're doing what we're doing.
Wow. You know what? You're so right on that point. It's so, I get people all the time that come, hey, Merrick, I see you do this. I see you list this house. And if you don't have passion in that,
that's
then
right.
You can't do it, because, a lot of times the money just doesn't start flowing in when you get started.
Right.
You have to have that vision and that passion in case you want to be successful. And I don't know how people get that. Is it something that you were born with?
You know what? It takes time to find it. You have to literally work your passion until you're able to figure out what it is that you do. You do it very well, that people will pay you for. And then you have to make sure that you stay connected to what that passion is. You have to stay connected to that drive. Whatever it is, you have to stay connected to it. So it takes time. It's like the process of elimination. I didn't start out as an event manager. It actually morphed into event management.
Can I ask you a question? What did you start doing?
You know what? When I started out, I was an executive management assistant. I supported CEO, C-level individuals for multiple companies, and the events of those companies always fell on my desk. And I found myself planning the events more than I balanced the checkbook, more than I coded the credit card slips. I found myself managing those events. Right. It was like an evolution.
It's amazing how sometimes you evolve and things kind of point their way out and you just follow them and it helps you get there, right?
And I was doing those things as an add-on. They were not what I was being paid to do. I was paid to do something totally different. But then as I continued to do it, I realized that I have a real passion for this. I cut my teeth doing free stuff that I wasn't charging a dime for. And they would be extraordinary. Just last week, I was looking online, and one of the conferences that I was working for as a volunteer, I created a stage set for them. And it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago, I created a stage set for them. Wow. And I looked online last week, it was last October, or just this past October, and they literally had used the stage set that I created for free 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, they're still using the same stage set. It's incredible what we're able to do out of passion and how we're able to make a difference.
And I can't tell you how great that is.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, even today for me, things that I did 20 years ago when I first got in this business, they still come back. People still call me in places like Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta. Hey, you're still doing real estate? Of course I'm still doing real estate.
What else would I be doing?
It's my passion. I don't feel like I work.
Right.
I feel like I just live. If everybody can have this kind of life,
amazing.
Then if we can do it, then everybody else can do it.
Right.
Another thing that I'd like to ask all my guests is, there comes a point in all of our lives where I feel you have to take a leap of faith. Mm-hmm. Where you have to say, I'm not going to do what's ordinary, what everybody else does. I'm going to take my leap of faith and I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to do it myself. What was that moment for you, and what can you recall of that moment of saying, I no longer want to work for the man, I am the man. Okay, I am the man. When was that, or the woman. Excuse me, let me make sure I do that. When was that moment for you?
It was an interesting concept. I have been here in South Florida for about 12 years.
You like South Florida?
I like South Florida.
Okay.
I like South Florida. I love the diversity of South Florida. I love the opportunities. Of course, I love the sunshine and the beaches and all of the amazing people that make up the South Floridian culture here. It's an amazing experience. But I remember after having moved here, I was laid off from my job twice.
Wow.
Never in my career had I ever been laid off before. The first time it was like, okay, go get another job. The second time, there was absolutely no way whatsoever that I was going to go and get another job. I was determined that I was going to start my own company, take my events that I had been doing on the company that I was working for, take that event experience, expand on it, grow it, groom it, and turn it into what Plan Ahead Events is on today.
So if you are watching us today,
you got to do it.
If you are sitting on a sofa at a job,
leap.
I want you to leap. That's the most important announcement that we have to make today, because once you leap and you take that leap of faith, not only do you get your life, but you get your freedom.
Yeah.
Do you feel free?
Absolutely.
Freedom, there is no price for.
There is no price.
So if you are in a job now or in a career, like all of us have been at some point in our lives and taken the choice, to take that step of freedom is probably the most fearful thing to do, but also the most rewarding. Listen, everyone out there, today I have a wonderful guest.
Yes.
LaWanda Harris is here. She talked about passion. She talked about freedom. She talked about taking risks and going out on your own. She talked about all the things that she had to do to take and start her own business and do that thing. And I'm sure there is nothing after that you'd ever go back to in a regular job.
It would be very difficult. I mean, it would be it would be very difficult for me to go back to a straight 9-to-5 job, because I found out that I'm able to produce in my passion, and I'm still able to pay my bills and take care of my responsibilities and still have, my freedom. You mentioned something really powerful in that last piece, talking about the mind. And I like to break words up and really kind of make them relevant to what I'm thinking.
Tell me what you think. I'm ready. I want to hear.
So when you look at the word mind, it's spelled M-I-N-D.
You guys see that?
M-I-N-D. M-I-N-D.
M-I-N-D.
So now break it up. M-I, my, N-D. End. Your mind determines your end. Your mind, your M-I determines your N-D. So when you make up your mind and you decide that you are going to do something, give it your best. Give it your all. Don't allow other people to talk you out of what it is that you know that you can do and what you can create and where you're trying to go. Sometimes you just need to work in silence, move in silence, and make your thing happen. And then the next thing you know, you will be in a situation where other people are now coming to you and asking you for advice. How did you do it? You was looking for me?
You made an impression on somebody that's a good friend of mine.
Absolutely.
I was looking for you. You've made an impression on people.
Yes.
The most thing that we can do in our life is make an impression on people. And I'm going to never forget the mind thing that you just said, because that's very helpful.
Yes.
Once people make it up in them, they can do
You
anything.
can do anything.
And I'm afraid that enough people aren't using that seriously. And I want to challenge you guys to do that seriously, to think about what your fears are.
Yeah.
What's holding you back from attaining your dreams? What's stopping you from leaving that job or buying that house or making $1 million? It's all in the mind.
It's all in your mind.
You can do it. Just follow along. You can do it. So if you are out there watching us, LaWanda, this is for some lucky person. If you're out there and you've never listed $1 million house before, I'm going to give you a $7.5 million listing. How about that? You ever think about that?
That is amazing.
So I want you to follow the link below, and I'm going to choose one lucky person to list with me a $7.5 million house on the beach here in Florida. Can you imagine that? So follow us. I want one lucky person. Come online, put your information, and you are going to list with me the home of most of our dreams.
Yes.
So join us, guys. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's for you.